Hare Krishna Mataji, you can make me the host Mataji and get relieved Mataji if you want. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, can I do a kirtan?
Hare Krishna, yes Mataji, sure Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Jaya Jaya Radha Krishna Yugala Milana Arati ko rove Lalita Adi Sakhi Gana Jaya Jaya Radha Krishna Madana Mohana Rupa Tribanga Sundara पीतांबर शिखी पूछ चूड़ा मनोहर जय जय राधा कृष्ण ललिता माधव वाम वृषभानु कन्या सुनीला वासना गौरी रूपे गुणे धन्या जय जय राधा कृष्ण नानाविध अलंकार कोरे जलमाल हरिमानो विमोहन वदन उज्ज्वल जय जय राधा कृष्ण विशाखादि सखी गना नाना राग गाया प्रिय नर्म सखी जता चावर डुलाया जय जय राधा कृष्ण राधा माधव पद सरसीज आशे भगति विनोदा सखी पदे सुखी बासे जय जय राधा कृष्ण युगल मिलन आरती को रोवे ललिता आदि सखी गना जय जय राधा कृष्ण. Thank you, Mataji, for giving me the opportunity.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much Mataji for a blissful kirtan. Hare Krishna. Anybody else Matajis want to start kirtan or Prabhu? Anybody wants to start a kirtan? Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, shall I Mataji?
Yes Mataji, please go ahead. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Sundar bala sachi dulhana नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में सुंदर बाला सची दुलाना नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में बाले चंदन तिलक मनोहर बाले चंदन तिलक मनोहर पलकाशोभित कपूलन में सुंदर बाला सची दुलाना नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में कोई गाता है राधा कृष्ण नाम कोई गाता है हरि गुण गान कोई गाता है राधा कृष्ण नाम कोई गाता है हरि गुण गान मंगल तान मृदंग रसा बाजत है कोई रंगन में मंगलतान मृदंग रसा बाजत है कोई रंग में सुंदर बाला सची दुलारा नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में क्षीर चूड़ा दर से भाले वन फूल माला ही पर ढोले सिर चूड़ा नर से पाले वन फूल माला ही पर ढोले पहिरण पीत पीतांबर शोभे नूपुर ऋणो झुणो चरणों में पहिर पीत पीतांबर शोभे नूपुर ऋणो झुणो चरणों में सुंदर बाला सची दुलारा नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में राधा कृष्णा एक तनु आए निधुवन माझे बंसी बजाए राधा कृष्णा एक तनु आए निधुवन माझे बंसी बजाए विश्व रूप की प्रभु जी सही आउट प्रकट ही नदिया में विश्व रूप की प्रभु जी सही आउट प्रकट ही नदिया में सुंदर बाला सची दुलारा नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में सुंदर बाला सची दुलारा नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में बाले चंदन तिलक मनोहर बाले चंदन तिलक मनोहर अलका शोभिक मोदन में अलका शोभिक मोदन में सुंदर बाला सची दुलारा नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में क्षीर चूड़ा नर से भाले वनपुर माला ही पर ढोले पहिरण पीत पीतांबर शोभित नूपुर ऋणु झुनु चरणों में सुंदर बाला सची दुलारा नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में सुंदर बाला सची दुलारा नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में राधा कृष्णा एक तनु आए निधुवन माझे बंसी बजाए विश्व रूप की प्रभु जी सही आउट प्रकट ही नदिया में सुंदर बाला सची दुलारा नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में सुंदर बाला सची दुलारा नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय थैंक यू डिवोटीज हरे कृष्णा
Thank you so much,
वेलकम
Mataji.
सनातन बलराम प्रभु जी हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranams to you, Prabhuji. Over to you,
Yes.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna and pranams to everybody. Thank you so much. Mataji, I'll need some help in sharing if it can happen. Is
Prabhuji?
that okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. I'm sharing, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Can you all see the screen, Mataji? Prabhuji, can you see the screen, Prabhuji?
yes Mataji
yes ma'am.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Yeah, we can see. Just a minute. Is my audio and video okay? I'm not able to
Yes,
see.
Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Perfect.
For some reason, I'm not able to see myself. I don't know which view I have to go in.
We can see, Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. Okay, so Hare Krishna and Dandas pranams to everybody. So we will get started with the session for today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatam Aham Vande Sri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So today we are doing Canto 3, and then this is 21st chapter, and then the verses are from 22 to 25. So if we can go to
Hare
verse
Krishna. Yes,
20,
Prabhuji. 1 second.
22. Here you can change to 22. No, here, where my arrow is there.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Apologies, Prabhuji. I'm sorry, Prabhuji.
No worries. I'm saying here in this, where I'm pointing the arrow, can you see? I don't know. You can see.
No, Prabhuji.
No, you will not be able to see. Sorry.
Mataji, above in the tab, where it is 18, na, just put 3.21.22 directly, Mataji. Then it will come up.
Yeah.
SB
Yes, Mataji.
3.21.22.
Yeah, 22. No. Yeah. No need SPM.
Okay, Prabhuji.
You are already in that tab, no?
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah, there, that one. Yes. Yeah.
I'm very sorry. Apologies for all of you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. That's all right. So you could just go up a little bit. I'll want the English also.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you. So, Rishirvacha iti avyalikham pranuto abjanabhas tam abhavase vacham samrtena suparna pakshopari rochamanah premasmitho dvikshana vibhramadruhu. Anybody wants to read? I
Hare
see a
Krishna,
lot of
Mataji.
hands.
One by one, you can read the shloka and translation also. Hare Krishna. Ansuya Mataji,
Hare
you can
Krishna. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranams. Rishir
Hare Krishna.
uvacha ityavyalitam pranuto janabhas tamabha bhase vachasa mrutena suparna paksho parirochamanah premasmitodvikshana vibhramadruhu. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. The next translation, somebody else.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Yes, Mataji.
Krishna.
Shobha Mataji, you can read the translation.
Pranam Prabhuji and Mataji, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada. Translation, Maitreya resumed. Sincerely extolled in these words, Lord Vishnu, shining very beautifully on the shoulders of Garuda, replied with words as sweet as nectar. His eyebrows moved gracefully as he looked at the sage with a smile full of affection. Should I read the purport or next, Mataji?
Hare Krishna,
No,
Prabhuji.
that
Yes,
should
please.
do. We will not read the book. Thank you.
Hari Bol. Pranam Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Should we go to the next sloka, Prabhuji? Or?
Yes, yes, please go to them.
So,
No, that in that 22 only, no, Mataji, go to that same tab which you were showing before. So just scroll down. Keep scrolling. Scroll down. Yeah, the next. Just tap on next here. That's it. Yeah. So 23, who would like to read? Sudha Mataji, you could go ahead with it.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranams.
Hare Krishna. Dhanasana.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha Viditva Tava Chaityam Me Puraiva Samayojita Yadartamatmaniyamais Vayavaham Samarchita. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. And then scroll down for the meaning. Yeah.
Shilpa Mataji,
Hare
you can do
Krishna.
that.
Pranam Prabhu. Thank you, Mataji.
Dhanasana.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Lord said, having come to know what was in your mind, I have already arranged for that for which you have worshipped me, well through your mental and sensory discipline. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Now the next shloka. You can go down. We'll not do the purport. Go further down.
Hare Krishna. Can any Matajis please share this because I'm not able to move it actually. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, shall I?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Yes,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna. And apologies. I request apologies. All of you to forgive. Hare.
You have to stop sharing, Mataji, then only I can do.
Mataji, it is showing Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay.
Chapter 21. Yeah. Text 23, 24. Yes. Thank you. So who would like to read this? I see some hands here. Saravanan Prabhu, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, there is a Meenakshi Mataji already there before me.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Navai jatu mrishaiva syat prajadyksha madarhanam bhavadvideshva titaram mahi sangrabitatmanam. You can read the translation, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. The Lord continued, my dear Rishi, O leader of living entities, for those who serve me in devotion by worshipping me, especially persons like you who have given up everything unto me, there is never any question of restoration. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now the next shloka, 25.
Divya Gopu Mataji, please read.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranams.
Hare Krishna.
Prajapati Sutah Samran, Manurvikhyata Mangalah, ब्रह्मवर्तं द्विवसन् शास्ति सप्तार्णवां महीम्. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Chandana
Hare
Mataji, please read translation.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The Emperor Swayambhava Manu, the son of Lord Brahma, who is well known for his righteous acts, has his seat in Brahmavarta and rules over the earth with its 7 oceans. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Thank you, devotees. Thank you for that. So thank you for sharing also. So now these are the 4 or 5 shlokas that we will cover for today. So before we get started, Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschayata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I'm seeking the blessings of all the Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis who are here. So kindly bless me so that I'll be able to do some justice to this small seva that I've taken up for today. And then the right words come out at the right time in the right spirit. And I'm doing this as a service to the Guru Parampara for the pleasure of the Lordships and for my own purification. Hare Krishna. So Rishuvacha iti avyalikkam pranuto abjanabhas tam abhavase vacham mrutena suparna paksho parirochamanaha temasmitho dvikshana vibhamad bruhu. So here the Lord actually is speaking, or rather Maitreya is resuming. He's saying that sincerely extolled in these words, Lord Vishnu, shining very beautifully on the shoulders of Garuda, replied with words as sweet as nectar. His eyebrows moved gracefully as he looked at the sage with a smile full of affection. So there is so much of description that is here in this particular verse. So before we dive into this particular nectar of the Lord, so the background, like you all know, we are in this chapter, which is the conversation between Manu and Kardama Muni. Now we are actually seeing what Kardama Muni did. So we know that he went into meditation. So he meditated for 10,000 years, and then that pleased the Lord. And then he gives him darshan. So that is the point where we are now. So in the earlier shlokas, there is a discussion about the activities and then the results of Kardama Muni. So he is so happy to have darshan of the Lord, because the Lord is giving darshan, and then he is happy. That is, Kardama Muni is very happy to see the Lord, and he praises the Lord. So this is the shlokas that we saw earlier, where he is talking about the features of the Lord and then the qualities of the Lord. And then it is said that Kardama Muni satisfied the Lord with his prayers. So the Lord becomes very happy. And this particular aspect naturally pleased the Lord. And then, we are just continuing here. So if you look at what Kardama Muni was trying to say, just to give a quick roundup, right from, he's saying that, O Supreme Worshipful Lord, my actually power of sight is now fulfilled, he says, because I've attained the highest perfection for my eyes, that is seeing you. Beholding the Lord is the highest perfection for the eyes. If you behold anything else, it is not the highest. So there is nothing beyond that. So in this way, the Muni is extolling the Lord and then his virtues also, as we see. And then he says that the lotus feet of the Lord, your lotus feet, O Lord, is the true vessel. It's the only vessel or the ship that will take us across this ocean of mundane existence or nascence. So people who catch on to this particular vessel, which is the lotus feet of your Lord, they will be very easily, they will be able to cross this ocean of nascence or misery or the material world. So that's how, and then he also goes on to say that he has some desire to marry, but then he is again seeking his permission and also seeking his help so that he will get a person who is suitable to his temperament. So in this way, the Kadamani is actually pleading with the Lord. And then he says that you are the master and the leader of all the entities, and then you, under your direction only, all the conditioned souls are engaged in satisfying their desires. So whenever there is any desire that is there for the conditioned soul, there it is only satisfied by your sanctioning authority. Under your direction only it happens. So he understands the tattva perfectly, and then all this is coming out in the verses that you all have already seen before. And then he is extolling the virtues of the Lord. Then he says that people who are caught up in the material world, in the material worldly affairs, for them, what happens is, I mean, unless they give that up and then take the shelter of your lotus feet, only then they can be freed from the primary necessities of the material world. So now, what is the meaning of taking shelter of the Lord? That a little bit of explanation is there, where it says that you take the shelter of the Lord by drinking the intoxicating nectar of your qualities and activities. So what is the meaning of drinking the intoxicating nectar of qualities and activities? Is hearing and speaking about the qualities of the Lord, activities of the Lord. What are the activities of the Lord? That is the various leelas of the Lord. Janma karma chame divyam. So these activities, when we are talking about, then indulging like pushyanticha ramayanticha, madchita madgata prana bodhayante parasparam, kathayantaste mam nityam tushyanticha ramayanticha. So what do devotees do? They just talk about the glories of the Lord, and then in that exchange, they are able to enjoy. There is so much of ramayanticha, there is so much of enjoyment in that discussion about the topic of the Lord. So it becomes so endearing to a devotee. And Kardamani is also saying that for people who give up the worldly affairs and then they are drinking in this nectar or drowning themselves in this nectar, for them it is very easy to cross over. And then he's also saying that how you have created this entire universe, even though you have nothing else to do. I mean, you have got nothing to do with this material world, but then still you created it. That is just so that we, living entities, might be able to fulfill our desires. So you're giving us a chance to do that. So I am continuously offering my respectful obeisances unto your lotus feet, which is the only worthy place to take shelter. And because you shower all benedictions to the insignificant, I am also offering my prayers. So in this way, very humbly, he is submitting himself. And that is pleasing the Lord very much. And because the Lord is pleased, is what we can see in this particular shloka. So what does it say here? It says that Maitreya is now talking. So Rishi Uvacha is actually Maitreya Rishi. So this particular chapter is actually the conversation between Manu and Kardama Muni. But then this whole thing is narrated by Maitreya Rishi. Maitreya Rishi is narrating it to whom? Anybody can remember? They can say?
Vidura.
Yeah, Vidura. On the instructions of Uddhava. So Uddhava tells that please, Maitreya Rishi is there, please go to him when Uddhava and Vidura meet. And then after that, then Vidura goes and then he meets Maitreya Rishi, and then there's this long conversation. So actually, the conversation between Maitreya Rishi and Vidura is very long in Srimad Bhagavatam. It covers more than, I think, 2 cantos or 3 cantos, something like that. So anyway, so Maitreya Rishi is now saying that because the Lord Vishnu, he was extolled by these words sincerely. So you'll have to understand that sincerity is the thing. It's not, I mean, there are so many people who praise others, but do they praise in all sincerity, or is it just the lip service that they do? So that we all can understand what it is. So sincerity is a prime word here. So when the Lord is being praised sincerely, then the Lord becomes very happy. And then he is shining very beautifully on the shoulders of Garuda. That is how he is giving darshan. So he's on the shoulders of the Lord Garuda. And then he is also replying with words as sweet as nectar. And then his eyebrows are moving gracefully as he looked at the sage with a smile full of affection. So there is affection, and then there is grace in his movement, then there is grace in the speech, then there is so much of nectar that is coming out. And then the Lord himself is so beautiful to behold. And then he is there on the shoulders of Garuda. So very majestic, very nice. So there are so many adjectives that we can keep on adding here. It will still not be sufficient to describe what Kardama Muni is seeing or what he is trying to say. So Prabhupada is now going ahead and then giving more details about it. So he says that anything to do with respect to the Lord is very sweet, very nectarian. His eyebrow movements are very sweet, very graceful. And then the real nectar is on the platform of transcendental consciousness or Krishna consciousness. So once our consciousness is purified, and then we are moving towards being Krishna conscious, then we begin to experience this particular nectar or the sweetness that is there. Everything about the Lord is sweet, but then we will not be able to understand it. In fact, there is this sweetness means what? Madhuram. You know, there's this song, I think by Annamacharya, I think in Telugu, Adaram Madhuram. So where he's also called as Madhuradipati. So he is the pati, or he's the head, or the one who is the epitome of sweetness. Everything about him is so sweet. When he is angry also, it is very sweet. When he is doing any activity, any action that he does, there is so much of sweetness filled into it. So in this way, the Lord is being described by the Vaishnavas. But then, why there is sweetness, that also the Acharyas are explaining. Prabhupada is saying that because whatever the Lord is doing is transcendental, it has got nothing to do with this material world, material things that we generally associate with. So because there is no material tinge or there is no material contamination with respect to the Lord or with respect to his actions and everything associated with the Lord, including his speech, so it becomes very sweet because there is no contamination. And that is why this Vachasa Amruta, Vachasamruta is the word that is being used here. So what does Vachasamruta means? Vacha, Vachasa, that is speech. And then Amruta. What is Amruta? Amruta means, what does Amruta mean?
Nectar.
Nectar.
Yeah, but there's more to it, some more meaning to it.
Sweetness.
No.
Sweetness in speech.
In this context, it is referring to being deathless. See, Amruta. Mruta means what? Death.
Immortal.
And Amruta means deathless or immortality or eternal. So that is what Amruta means. Actual meaning of Amruta is that it is eternal, it is deathless. So the speech of the Lord is Amruta, which is eternal, because the Lord is eternal. So everything connected with the Lord is also eternal. So the words of the Lord, the activities of the Lord, everything is deathless. Prabhupada is saying. And then the words of the Lord are actually the words that are coming from the spiritual world. It has got nothing to do with the material world. We saw that. And just to get an understanding, the material sound or the material words, they are having an opposite quality. We get used to it, or it becomes boring to it. Or after a certain period, then it loses the taste. So that is why it's difficult for us to understand. But then we can we come to know through the Shastras, through the purports, through the Vaishnavas, through the Acharyas, how the sound that is coming from the Lord is also eternal. So in the same way, we have this as an example again, we have this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, so which is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This particular sound is also coming from the spiritual world. That is what Prabhupada says. And this sound is again Amrita, or it is deathless. Because, we can understand to some extent, because it increases the enthusiasm of the chanter. So whenever there is any japa marathons and all that, you'll see like people are just going on chanting. They just cannot stop. And then especially when somebody, if we are doing, say, 64 rounds or 80 rounds or whatever, during a japa marathon period from morning till afternoon or evening, then towards the evening, even after the marathon was over, without us realizing, we will still be continuing with the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. We just say Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So, like this, we can get some idea about how this particular sound is eternal or deathless. And it increases the enthusiasm of the chanter. So, Mataji, if you could mute people.
Suresh Prabhuji, some Mataji is logged in with the name Suresh. Please mute yourself.
So Arun will go to the gym.
Hare Krishna.
Come back and
The host can mute, no?
Yeah, the host can mute
it.
Ashish Prabhuji, please mute Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, so we were talking about this particular aspect of how there is no boredom or tiredness, and there is no satiation, anything to do with the Lord. What is satiation? That means becoming fed up. How do we understand that? We have discussed this in the earlier classes also, if you recall. Satiation is like when you get fed up. Like you might like something at the first go, like a sweet, like an example of a gulab jamun. So we'll eat one, two. Oh, I love gulab jamuns. Give me, I can eat how much ever. Keep on giving. But actually, the taste of the gulab jamun, the first gulab jamun, compared to the fourth, compared to the fifth, or whatever, it keeps on decreasing. It is diminishing. And then you come to a point where you don't want it anymore. You say, no, don't even, you cannot even bear the sight of gulab jamuns for a couple of days then after that, right? So this is the quality of the material world, where anything that we like, we will like it the first time, but then the more we try to have it, then it's the likeness of it, or the quality keeps going down, and then we reach a point where we say no more. Whereas in the spiritual world, it is the opposite. The more we keep having it, the more we want it. So it is an increasing taste or an increasing pleasure that is there. And that is why it is Amrita, or it is Mruta, or it is deathless, or it is eternal. Because it is not Chapala. Chapala is the opposite of that. Chapala Sukha is what is there in the material world, and in the spiritual world, it is Amrita. So, this is how then everything connected to the Lord has to be understood in this way, because that is why they say that everything about the Lord is transcendental. It is not having any material contamination. So, there is this verse in Bhagavad Gita which says, Janma karma chame divyam. So, Janma and karma of the Lord, that is the birth, the activities of the Lord, are all divyam. They are all transcendental. And then there is also this benefit. What does it say? Janma karma chime divyam evam yoveti tatvataha yakyad deham punar janma naiti mameti so Arjuna. So Krishna is saying that you just hear all these things, that itself is so much of divinity is there in all this, that you will not take another birth. It's like, just write so much, I'll give you 100 out of 100, like that. So the Lord has packed his leelas, then his words, everything with so much of potency that we can actually get liberated with that. And now there is so much of nectar in the word Krishna. See, like Rupa Goswami is talking about it. He says real nectar is actually the word Krishna, because more than Krishna person, the word has more nectar, or there is no more mercy in this word. And so he's saying, Rupa Goswami is saying, there's this 2-syllable word, Krishna. There is so much of nectar in it that whenever I say this word Krishna, actually Krishna is dancing in my mouth. And there is so much of nectar that is being generated that it is not sufficient for my mouth to gulp it down. So much of nectar. There's a burst of nectar that is happening when he is saying Krishna. This is what Rupa Goswami is saying. So now, when there is so much of burst of nectar that is there, he says, I want to taste this more and more. So it is increasing proportion, like I said. It is not like our material gulab jamun. This is transcendental gulab jamun. So when we eat one, we want to have more. So Rupa Goswami, how he is saying that? He's saying, one mouth is not enough for me. I want to have millions of mouths, a million mouths, so that every mouth I will say Krishna, and in every mouth I can enjoy or experience this particular nectar, which is so sweet. And then he goes on and then he says, of course, when you say Krishna, then what happens? We are actually hearing it. So the other organ that is becoming, that is playing an important role is our ears. So now he says, 2 years are not enough for me to hear this nectarian word Krishna. He says, I will need 2 million years, because one mouth, 2 years. No? So there are millions and millions of years so that I can hear this sweet word of nectar millions of times coming out from millions of mouths. And this way, then that I can experience the sweetness of the Lord. So this sounds a little bit poetical for us, because at this point, we are not able to experience any of this. Okay, to some extent, we get a view or an understanding or a little bit of an experience by this example of how we chant the Mahamantra and then we want to keep on going, or at least we don't get tired of it. So there is no tiring, there is no frustration. Just want to chant. So that is the potency that is there. But then Rupa Goswami is a devotee of the Lord. He is a bhakta. So he is able to experience all of this. And then Krishna says that the yogis who are in meditation, who are trying to mechanically withdraw their minds, they are not able to do all this. It is so easy, it becomes for a bhakta. Just say Krishna and then he is lost. All his senses are cut off from this material world. Lost means what? Lost to the world means lost to the surroundings. Lost to the surroundings means cut off. All the senses are cut off. So it just cut off and then he is just drowning in the sweetness of the word Krishna itself. So then it becomes very difficult for the yogi to do it. If you can make me the co-host, then I could mute
Rakesh
people.
Prabhuji, please mute.
Yeah. Can I request Shilpa Mataji, can you make me the co-host?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, I am not the host, but I will request Mataji to make me the host so that Prabhuji is not disturbed.
You are already the
Mataji,
host.
you are the host.
I am the host? Okay, just
Yes,
now I must
yes.
be
Now
made.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
morning I
No worries,
wasn't.
no worries.
Hare
no worries.
Krishna, I'll manage, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you so much. All right. So much of sweetness is there in this Lord. I mean, and then the yogis are not able to do this. I mean, they try to mechanically bring themselves up to this, and then it becomes very difficult for them. But for Rupa Goswami, do you think it was very difficult? No, it wasn't. So because he was always with Krishna, he's a very pure devotee, a bhakta, a true bhakta of the Lord. But then we come to this point where but all those don't happen to me. So what does that mean? It only means that we are all abhaktas. So now abhakta means then what is the next point then? If we have to experience this nectar, we want to eat that transcendental gulab jamun, then we will have to become bhaktas. So now we might decide then, okay, now I know what I have to do. If I want to experience this particular sweetness, then I have to become a bhakta. So we become a bhakta of who? Bhakta of Krishna.
Krishna.
So now we go to Krishna and then we say, okay, now I want to become your devotee. Now you think Krishna will accept it?
No, Prabhu.
No problem.
No? He will not
No,
accept, but Krishna will
No,
accept. No, he
Prabhuji.
should accept,
He
right?
will see our service and accordingly he'll reciprocate.
First, he wants
Okay,
us to
okay.
become the devotees of his devotees, Prabhuji. Dasanudas.
Okay, that's very nice, very nice. All answers are right, but yeah, Krishna will not say that, because Krishna is telling to Arjuna, my dear Partha, one who claims to be my devotee is not so. Only a person who claims to be the devotee of my devotee is actually my devotee. Now he is giving us a clue how to become a devotee of Krishna. So you become a devotee of Krishna by becoming a devotee who is a devotee of Krishna. So it becomes very easy there now. Because otherwise we don't know what to do, and then we will be wondering, because this is said in the Adi Puran. There's this statement is made by Lord Krishna himself, and then he is addressing Arjuna in this way. A person who's actually a devotee of my devotee is my true devotee. So instead of trying to become a direct devotee of the Lord, which will not give us this nectar or this amrita, transcendental gulab jamun, what is possible is to, or what one has to do is to become, or to follow instructions of Krishna, which is to become a devotee of the devotee. And then this particular thing is having reference in other places also, where Krishna says very clearly in the 18th chapter, one who serves my devotee is more pleasing to me than one who serves me directly. So in this way, there are instances where Krishna is bringing out this thing. So once we tune ourselves to that way, then we will become devotees of the Lord. And being a devotee of the Lord, being a bhakta of the Lord, then mercy flows from the Lord, so in such a way that we will be able to experience this particular nectar, which otherwise we can just hear about now and then hanker for it or crave for it. That also is a very good quality, because craving and hankering is a good sign. That is in the sign of, it's in the mood of vipralamba, like in absence, we don't have it, so we crave for it, we cry for it. So that also is the first step towards moving there. And then this is also confirmed by Narottam Das Thakura, where he says, there's this particular song, which is that Nama Sankirtan song, the bhajan, which says, Ananda Bole Hari Vraja Vrindavan. And then the next line says, Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majeya Man. So which says that I would like to serve the feet of Vaishnavas and Gurus, and that is what will give me this particular Ananda, or that's nectar, which is there, which is connected to Hari, which is connected to Raja, which is connected to Vrindavan. All of this become accessible to me when I'm serving the feet of Guru and Vaishnavas. Now, Guru and Vaishnavas in ISKCON, there are so many Vaishnavas are there. So start serving the Vaishnavas, then we will definitely have access to this particular nectar, which is being written about in this particular verse that we are seeing for today. Now, and Prabhupada also is saying, I mean, he goes on to explain these things, and then he says how there is so much of nectar in the word Krishna itself, leave alone the speech of Krishna. So much more nectar will be there in the speech of the Lord. So now what is the Lord actually saying? Okay, the Lord is saying that having come to know what is in your mind, I know what's in your mind, Kardama Muni. I've already arranged for that, because you have worshipped me well through your mental and sensory discipline for 10,000 years. So the Lord knows everything. We don't actually have to express our desire to the Lord, like how Dhruva Maharaj, I mean, like boy Dhruva did. It is not necessary, because the Lord understands. He knows what's in our mind. And then he can very easily arrange it if he is pleased, and then he wants us to have it. Then he can arrange it in such a way that it just happens, and then we should just accept it as coming from the Lord, the mercy of the Lord, and then take it. Not that, it so happened that then, everything fell in place for me. These are words that we use in the Karmi world. But then we will have to shift our mind in a way that we become more Krishna conscious, which means that we attribute everything that is happening or not happening in our lives to Krishna. We accept it because he knows, and then he is arranging it. There's no need for us to go and then ask and tell, and then, these sort of things are not needed. So he's aware, because as Paramatma, he's situated in everybody's heart, and then he knows what is in our heart. Sometimes there is a situation where we may not know what we want or what we desire, but the Lord will know. So because our consciousness is so limited that we may not really know or not understand what we actually want, but then the Lord knows exactly what we want. And then once it comes, then we realize, oh, this is what I was looking for, but I didn't know it. So in this way, the next verse, which is verse 23, Prabhupada is saying how seated in the heart, he is not only a witness, he also knows everything. And then he also is Anumanta, that means he's sanctioning authority. And then Upadrishta, there is these two qualities of the Paramatma within us, which is Anumanta and Upadrishta. Upadrishta is overseer, and Anumanta is somebody who's sanctioning authority also he is. So he keeps sanctioning as well as he keeps overseeing. So if he's just overseeing and not sanctioning, then thing will not happen. Anyway, he is overseeing. That means that it is not meant to be for us. So the Lord desires, or the Lord's will is something else. So we just accept that particular situation also. Or otherwise, he is also Anumanta. He sanctions it, and then it comes to us. Then we should accept it as his mercy. So either way, it is his mercy, whether he is sanctioning it or not sanctioning it. By not sanctioning it also, he is guiding us. And by sanctioning it also, he is guiding us, because he is absolute. So like this, we can go on and on. So many subtle things about the Lord, which we need to understand. And then understand what he's saying subtly when he says, if you are my devotee, then you're not my devotee. But then if you become a devotee of my devotee, then you are my devotee. So this is also aligning to the stage where there are people who generally say, oh, for me, others don't matter. Lord is there, I am there. And my dealing with the Lord is personal, and then it is one-to-one and direct. So people talk like this. Sometimes very nice to hear this if we don't know the tattva. And say, oh, wow, so clear he is, so determined he is and all. But then that particular person is referred to generally as a Kanishtadhikari, because he fails to see other entities in relation to his own Lord. For him, he and the Lord matters and nothing else. That is the quality of a Kanishtadhikari. But then one has to move on from Kanishta to Madhyama and then to Uttamadhikari. And for that, the first stage is to accept the other entities also as part and parcel of the Lord, and accept the fact that they are also as dear to the Lord as I am to the Lord. That is the next stage, right? First is I am dear to the Lord, so there's a connection, relationship. It starts like that. But it cannot remain there. It has to move on to the next level, which is about the other entities also. So when we have this consciousness, then we realize that others are also equally important with respect to the Lord. And then we also realize that the Lord becomes pleased when we are treating that other person as part and parcel of the Lord. If you have to treat somebody as part and parcel of the Lord, then naturally all the good qualities will come out. So we will be courteous, we will not ignore, we will not be using harsh words. So you will realize that there is a paradigm shift in our behavior towards others. That is the first step towards serving a devotee. And then, then you realize that, okay, I mean, by serving this person, then I'm serving. So all you have to do is just find a devotee and then start serving that person. So it may not come naturally initially, but then with this proper understanding, you will have to cultivate it and then keep practicing it and then become a bhakta by serving bhaktas. So that's what is there. And then we also saw how as Paramatma, the Lord is sanctioning also. And then if you look at the next verse, then the Lord says, what pleases him. So he says that you, Kadama Muni, you have served me. You have served me with devotion by worshipping me. And then you didn't do just that. You also gave up everything unto me. So you gave up the material world and then you served me. You worshipped me without any expectation. And then you did it continuously. So by doing this, there are two aspects. No, what are the two aspects that are happening here? That is called, I mean, it is famously called as the pravritti marg and the nivritti marg. So there are things that we will have to give up, giving up things which are not favorable and accepting things which are favorable. in devotional service. That is what Kardama Muni did. He gave up all material conceptions, all material hankerings, all material desires. He gave all that up because he detached himself from the material world. But then just detachment is not enough. That is what generally the yogis do. They want to detach themselves. I don't want this. I don't want this. I have to renounce, 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 renounce. Okay, renunciation is part of it. But then you'll have to connect to the Supreme Lord. If there is no connection, then there is no place where you can support yourself or you can hold on. You keep on renouncing, then and then try to go up, but then you're not connecting somewhere, then it's going to be a fall. So like that, the pravritti marg is about connecting to the Lord, which is worshipping the Lord, and then doing service to the Lord. So in this way, when there is connection and then there is detachment, both go hand in hand. It has to happen together. So you give up material and then connect to spiritual. So that is what you did, and that is what pleases me. The Lord is very clearly telling Kardama Muni, this is what pleased me. See, it says that, O leader of the living entities, for those who serve me in devotion by worshipping me, especially persons like you who have given up everything unto me, there's never any question of frustration. So, like this, we can see from these verses how Lord is happy with people who do that, like he is happy with Kardama Muni. And then says, whatever you wanted is already arranged. The Lord is saying, I know what you want. I'm pleased with you. First, the Lord said with Kardama Muni, I'm very pleased with you. Okay. Then secondly, I know what you want. I know in your heart what is there. And you don't even have to ask, it is already arranged. And then he goes on to say how he has arranged that for him, for Kardama Muni. What is that arrangement he has done? This, the beginning of that we can see in verse 25, which is the last verse we are covering for today. So it says that Emperor Swayambhu Manu, the son of Lord Brahma, who is well known for his righteous acts, has his seat in Brahmavrata and rules over the earth with its 7 oceans. So he is introducing Swayambhu Manu here. And then he's talking about who he is, the son of Lord Brahma. And then he goes on to say how his daughter is suitable for you, and he will come. I think 2-3 days from now, he will come, and then he will make that offer to you, and then you can go ahead. So like this, he's saying, the Lord is saying that all this is already arranged. You don't have to worry. So in this way, the Lord is giving him darshan. By giving him darshan, actually, just that darshan itself is enough for Kardama Muni, makes him very happy. So that we saw the quality of the Lord, which is how everything is madhuram, or everything is so sweet with respect to the Lord. And that sweetness we saw as there's this unique quality of that sweetness which keeps on increasing also. And that is what transcendental is all about. That is what is the meaning of Amrita, which means it is deathless. It doesn't die out. It keeps on increasing. So this aspect of the Lord we saw, and then we saw how this is so different from the material world. See, all these discussions are just for us to understand how material world is different from spiritual world. Even though material world is a product that is coming from the Lord, but still the quality of the material world is such that it has these qualities which are quite opposite to the qualities of the spiritual world. And qualities of spiritual world are all Amrita. And that we can see in the words of the Lord, in the speech of the Lord, the name of the Lord, that is Krishna. And we have seen how the Vaishnavas, or the devotees of the Lord, have extolled that particular virtue by saying that I would want millions of mouths and millions of ears just to drink or drown in this nectar of the word Krishna. There's so much of nectar in the 2-syllable Krishna itself. So, and then we also saw, if we are not experiencing this, so if you have to experience this, then we have to become bhaktas. And if you have to become bhaktas, then again we'll go back to what Krishna is saying. So we saw in how he's telling Arjuna, that you become a devotee of my devotee, then you will be my devotee, and thereby you'll become eligible for all the mercy that is there. So that is how then Krishna is telling us. And then we also saw how that aligns with Kanishtadhikari, and then a Madhyama, and then Uttamadhikari, which are stages of progress, where Kanishtadhikari is just about the Lord and then himself, And then from there, of course, they get some benefit there, but that's not the ultimate. Amrita benefit is not there. But then the next benefit, of course, when you start moving into recognizing other living entities, and then from that, realizing them or seeing them with respect to Krishna. So that's what Krishna consciousness is all about. Seeing other people with respect to Krishna, seeing situations with respect to Krishna, then seeing the world with respect to Krishna, seeing what is happening around us with respect to Krishna. So that way, we try to become Krishna conscious. Then as we progress in this Krishna consciousness, then we will realize that the best thing for me is to serve the devotee of Krishna rather than serve him directly. And that is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also thought. How did he teach that? What was that famous verse? I mean, there's a phrase that he used. Gopi Bhatta Pada Kamalayor
Dasa.
Dasa,
Dasa.
Dasano, Dasa. So become a servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. So not even just one level, serving the devotee, but then serving the servant who is the servant who is the servant of the devotee of the Lord or of the Lord. So like that, the lower we go, the better it is. Whereas in the material world, there also there is an opposite. You see, in the material world, what is our pravritti or our this thing? It is like that we want to get closer and closer, means you go higher and higher. Whereas here it is the other way around. The further you go away, then you become more dearer. So because you are a servant of the servant of the servant, that's the position that you take. And that pleases the Lord more and more and more. So this whole aspect of the relationship with the Lord is also limitless. It is not like, okay, there's a limit to it and that's it over. No, it is limitless again, because everything associated with the Lord is limitless. It is deathless. Asima, there is no boundaries to this particular emotion of bliss or ananda, all of that. No, there is no limit to it. It keeps on increasing as there is interactions happening. That's what they say, no? Like you would have heard this. Krishna is happy seeing that Radharani is happy. And then when Radharani sees that Krishna is happy, then she becomes more happy. Then seeing that Radharani's happiness is increasing, Krishna becomes more happy. So it's like an upward spiral, seeing one, other one, then like that. Then seeing Krishna, then Radharani is more happy. Then seeing Radharani becoming more happy, Krishna becomes more happy. So like that, these subtle things our acharyas have put it across so well with these examples. Prabhupada says that, so looking at Radharani, Krishna becomes happy. And then because Krishna is happy, Radharani becomes more happy. Then seeing Radharani becoming more happy, Krishna becomes more happy. So it's an ever increasing thing. There is no limit there. It says, okay, now we've been happy with each other up to this point. Now there is satiation. No, that is material conception. Whereas spiritual conception, there is no such limit. It keeps on increasing, and there is no satiation, or there is no what do you call it? Fed up, being fed up. That kind of a thing is not there. So in this way, we can get a glimpse of how spiritual world is and how the Lord has arranged things in the spiritual world, that it keeps on increasing and it is limitless. And that is why it is eternal. It keeps on happening. And then the more you hear, the more you want to hear. So when we reach that place where the more we want to hear, or the more we hear, the more we want to hear, that's an indication of, or it's a glimpse, it's an indication that there's some mercy that is flowing towards us from Krishna, and that mercy is making us see the small glimpse, like or getting a small taste of what it could be. And then that magnified millions and millions of times is what is the actual thing. This is just like a very, very small trailer or whatever you want to call it, which is giving us that glimpse, so that we hanker more and more for it. So this is how we will have to progress in Krishna consciousness, realizing that all these are beyond my reach, but then I keep desiring for it. So on that note, I think we can stop here. If there are any comments or any questions that anybody has, please go ahead. But otherwise, pleasing the Lord is very important for us, and that is what even in Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavatam also, it is said in the first canto, in the second chapter, 13th verse, Atapumbir Dvijashreshta Varnashrama Vivagasa Swanushtithasya Dharmasya Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. Haritoshanam is to please the Lord. So he says that the conclusion is that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation according to the caste divisions and orders of life is to please the personality of God. We may not like something, but we do it as a duty. But then if you are doing the duty to please the Lord, that means then we are in the right path. And that is the highest perfection that we can achieve in this particular state. We cannot achieve that perfection that we just spoke of theoretically all this while now, which is ever increasing and all that. It looks too much for us. We can't comprehend. Then you come back to this mundane plane. We realize, oh, I have to do duties. I mean, I do activities or devotional service as duty. I've been told I have to chant 16 rounds. I do it. I've been told that I have to do Mangalarti, whatever instructions are there. I've been told I have to read Bhagavatam every day. I read it. I may not have that taste, but then I just do it as a duty. But in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is concluded, which I just said now, Ata Kumbhir Dvijashreshta. It says, "O best among the twice born," it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed by one's own occupation according to caste divisions and orders of life is to please the personality of God. At least do it to please the Lord. Because you may not be pleased with it, but then you do it so that He is pleased. So that is the highest perfection we can achieve. So if we can come to that stage, that itself means that we have progressed very well. So, I mean, we're not even talking about the other things. And then if there is any, I mean, we are all in material bodies. We have some wants. For that also, there is assurance given in Bhagavatam. It says, "Akama sarma kamo va moksha kama udharadi tivrena bhakti yogena yajate purusham param." So it says a person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of material desire, without any material desire, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Lord, personality of Godhead. So even if there are desires, go to Him. So that is why Kardamuni is coming under the category of broader intelligence or very intelligent person, because what he did, even though he had some material desire, he went to the Lord. So that's what it says. Akama sarva kamova moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajate purusham param. Yajate purusham param. Yajate means worship. Purusha means the Lord. Param is the Supreme. So worshipping of the Supreme Lord is the only duty for us, whether we like it and do it, or we do it as duty bound. Either way, it is the same. Whether there is love or whether there is no love, we are duty bound to go and then work, earn a living and all that. This duty is something that we all understand well. We may not like it. I mean, a job, I am doing it as a duty. There are others who love their job. They just want to go and then do it. In the same way, for us, devotional service is also duty bound, because we don't have that rasa, we're not able to enjoy it. So we are pulling ourselves, somehow struggling to do that. That struggle becomes sadhana. And that sadhana is austerity. And that austerity the Lord recognizes, and then He gives us mercy. So that's the thread of that we should catch on to and not let go. And then continue our journey. Then, slowly the strands become more and more. So the rope becomes thicker and thicker. Thereby, we are able to hang on more firmly, and then we'll able to cross this material world and then go into the spiritual world. So with this faith, we'll continue our journey. I'll stop here. Hare Krishna. Then pranams to everyone. If there are any questions or comments, please go ahead.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. We have few questions. It was a beautiful class. As nectarian as always, Prabhuji, you're very clear in your speech. I will just call Medhavini Mataji to ask her question, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat pranams. Always very, very wonderful class, Prabhu. Very nice examples. Prabhuji, my query is, like you mentioned about Gopi Bhartu Padakamalyor Das Das Dasanu Das. We hear so much, so many times. Personally, Ekadashi, we chant extra rounds. We have a group of devotees who chant extra, and the impetus is, we want to write to Guru Maharaj. I always do. After Ekadashi, we write to Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj, we chanted so many rounds and so many devotees joined, about 20 plus devotees joined. We all did so many rounds. And then Guru Maharaj writes back saying, please pass on my blessings to all the devotees. I'm very pleased, so, somewhere that we are pleasing our Guru Maharaj. When we hear it from of course, Guru Maharaj is pleased. You don't have to really write like that. Somewhere there is a sense of insecurity that I think in myself it is there. That I want this constant assurance from Guru Maharaj. Yes, you are pleasing me. Pass on my blessings to everybody. Like that. And sometimes when Guru Maharaj does not reply 2-3 times, then I ask, Mahavara Prabhu or Shamrasika Prabhu, Prabhu, and of course not in the recent past. Like of course Guru Maharaj is not well in the hospital and all that. But I'm talking about, say in the mid of last year, so October, November, like that. So generally, Guru Maharaj replies once in 2 months at least. He will reply. So like you said, we please the servant of the servant of the servant, and it is not that you have to continuously get a reassurance. So I know that it is not right for me. Given that Guru Maharaj has so many disciples, given that Guru Maharaj's health condition, but somehow or the other, I'm not able to come out of it. That means, does it mean that I'm still insecure? Of course, I'm a Kanishta devotee. Like, I need that reassurance and blessings from Guru Maharaj. But somewhere I'm just thinking, should I continue this or not continue this? But Guru Maharaj has not told me, don't write. In fact, Guru Maharaj said, okay, send me a video report next time. I'm like, what is the video that I will prepare? I gently send a text message. So, Prabhu, can you enlighten us? And another related question is, how do we actually put it into our heart? How do we transform our hearts into becoming servant of the servant of the servant? Because generally it is always that, you want to be seen by your Guru, and Guru Maharaj, should at least, if he says, Medhavni, you are part of the group, then at least we are happy. You don't want to be the leader, but at least in the team, we want to be, we are there, and Guru Maharaj has seen us, like that. So a very childish mentality, at least I am a child in Krishna consciousness, maybe that's why I have this childish mentality. So Prabhu, can you just help us, how to evolve from the state to a more mature kind of state, because we know everything, but it's not application, it's not happening. Thank you, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Mataji, so many things you put across. One good quality is that you're very frank and then you're outgoing. It's not that it's only you who have this quality. Everybody is looking for recognition. Some of us are able to camouflage it for whatever reason. Maybe they are not so open like you. But then you just bring it out. So just because you said it doesn't mean that that quality is only with you. So it is there with every one of us. Tell me who doesn't want recognition in this world? It makes everybody happy. I mean, if just now, I'm just taking a very personal example, which is myself. And Mataji said, so thank you so much, so nice class. Naturally, you feel a little happy about it. Happiness, not because you gave the class, but at least the other person was able to recognize it, which is good. But then the point is that we should not take it that it is because I spoke, they were happy. It is because whatever effort I put in, and then the mercy of the Lord that, it touched their heart somewhere, and I was just a media. It's like how a postman is happy by seeing an old lady break into a smile because the money came to her and then he delivered it. It is not that, I gave the money, so she is happy. No, it is because, I was a small instrument, but at least it made her happy because somebody there was sending the money to her and I just went and gave it. So that's the mood that we will have to develop. But this need for a bit of recognition is going to be there. That's the way I understand it. And then it's there in all of us. So there's nothing different from you. All of us are children, child, whatever, immature, everything is there. And then you are actually courageous enough to admit it, because you're very frank and then you are very open about it. Whereas we just try to keep it to ourselves and then continue our existence, which is not a very good thing. So in one way, I really appreciate and then I respect you for that particular quality that you have in you. And then, this craving is always there. I mean, when like the way I understand all these shastras, people did not keep quiet. The gopis did not keep quiet. Oh, Krishna is gone now. They made all the endeavors to see him again. And then they also were anchoring for him, the Vipralamba Bhav. And then their enthusiasm level never went down, even though when Krishna was not there. And this we can see in the way they went about their daily routine. They used to, we have heard, they say like they used to keep their house ready. And so like if you are expecting guests, you try to put your house in order. No, like that every day used to keep their house spick and span and neat and ready, because they knew, or they went with the belief that Krishna will come today. And then the next day also the same thing. The next day also the same thing. So actually, in this verse, that we saw today, there is this clue there. It says that there is never any question of frustration, the Lord is saying. When you are involved in devotional worshipping of me by giving up the material things, like how you have done Kardamuni, there is no question of frustration. So they were all not frustrated. Okay, they might have been a little angry or something like that, sad and all that, but there is no frustration. Frustration is a different thing. As long as there is no frustration by not getting the which is not there in you. It is just that you are excited or you want there is eagerness, there is craving for a reply, which is a good quality. But then there is no frustration. It is not leading to frustration, because that means then I think you're on the right path. So now I am nobody to say whether you should continue or not. You should just go by what Guru Maharaj is saying. That's between you and him. But then this is the way I see it. I don't know if it answers what you wanted to ask me, but this is the way I see it. I mean, that's what I want to say.
Actually, Guru Maharaj asks for such kind of reports. He says, I get pleased when I see reports from my disciples to send a video report, send me like this, like that. So, I'm not able to decipher myself what is the intent behind me sending it. I am very enthusiastic. I keep sending reports to Guru Maharaj. But I don't know is it just to please Guru Maharaj? Do I not have any intent? And I know that it is not just exclusively to please Guru Maharaj, because I know that, if I please Guru Maharaj and Guru Maharaj's email comes, then I am more happy. It's more than gratification for me to receive Guru Maharaj's email that, hey, Guru Maharaj is satisfied, Guru Maharaj has read my email. It's like I am enjoying Guru Maharaj's response. So that then I think myself, I should not be doing this. I should be happy. Of course, I share it with all the devotees, saying Guru Maharaj has blessed all of us. We've all chanted extra rounds and all. But somewhere in my mind, I always have this dvivida, right? They call it in Hindi. I'm not able to find the right word. But somewhere I always see a sense of sense gratificatory propensity in me when I do this, Prabhu. So how to come out of it? In very subtle, but I don't know how to do that.
See, Mataji, it makes us happy, which is like we are full of emotion. So it makes us happy, which is fine. But at the same time, we'll also try to say that it made Guru Maharaj happy. So that should be the reason for my happiness, rather than the reply made me happy. So it made, in the reply, what he said was that it makes him happy, and then making him happy is the primary goal. We just have to shift the goalpost a little bit and then say that I have to please, I'm there to please my Guru, rather than because he's what he said, and then I became happy because of that. It's there's a little bit of a speaking there, the way I see it. I mean, I might be wrong, but I am just saying it because you were openly asking, so I'm suggesting. But I'm just saying that we'll have to see, like there's this example that I have given earlier also, but not here. They say, like, how many of you want to please Krishna? So then everybody raise their hand. Nobody will say, no, I don't want to please. Then I will say, how many of you want to see Krishna pleased? And now there's a difference between these two. Like, you want to please Krishna? Yes, you raise your hand. You want to see Krishna as pleased? Yes, you raise your hand. But then there's a small difference. In the second sentence, the I is not prominent. I want to see Krishna pleased is, I want to see Krishna pleased. I want to see Krishna pleased is, Krishna's prominence is there, not I. You get this difference in the way we use this sentence. So now, I want to see Krishna pleased is more better, because if somebody is doing a service which is better than me, and then I know for sure that it will please Krishna more, then allow or facilitate that person to do the service rather than I will do the service. So very subtle thing, but then we all have to work on it. Not that we all are there or I'm there. I'm just telling you theoretically. It's not with experience I'm speaking. So somewhere we will have to search ourselves and then try to have that goalpost in a way that I am happy because the devotee of Krishna is happy, and that is what this whole class was all about today. We said, like, you are not my devotee if you are trying to directly claim to be my devotee. You become a devotee of my devotee. So please him, then I become pleased. Then you are my devotee automatically. So the whole thing is aligning there. So there is nothing. But sometimes we get a little confused. That's okay. But we just continue what we are doing, and then beg for the mercy of the Lord so that the right enlightenment happens, and then we progress. So we are progressing anyway. It's not like we didn't progress. We are progressing, but it is so limitless that what we have progressed is so nothing compared to what is ahead. So it's so limitless. So we continue to do this endeavor.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you
Hare
so
Krishna.
much. Suma Mataji, you can ask your question.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Prabhuji, thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class, Prabhuji. God speaks through his pure devotees. So this was one of that, Prabhuji. Prabhuji,
Yeah,
when you
he
said that
speaks through the
we
pure
only have
devotees.
to...
I took it from the pure devotees. I took it from Srila
Hare,
Prabhupada, Acharyas. I am a postman. That's all. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, when you said that we have to be the servants of the servant of the servant of the servant, and it is very nice to be the servant of the servant of the servant, and it's a nice feeling also, and there is always a greater pleasure when taking a back seat, Prabhuji. So I have experienced that also sometimes. But in this practical world, when we start taking such positions, there are chances that people will take advantage of it. So there will be misused. So I just wanted to know, Prabhuji, what is a line that we after that we should not go down? So how can we practically imply this, Prabhuji?
See,
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, it will, Hare Krishna. So very deep question, Mataji. So actually, it will depend on situation. There are two answers to this, a practical answer and a theoretical answer. Theoretical answer would be like, it shouldn't really matter, no, if you're being misused, because that is what we say in the Sikshashtakam also, no? Krishna, what's that last verse? You embrace me tightly or whatever, I'm okay. Yes, yes. So yeah, somebody can just say that verse.
Ashlishyava padaratam
Mahakam karotu va.
Adrshanam marmahatam karotu va.
Yatha
Yatha
tatha
tatha va vidadato
vidadato
lampato.
matprananasastu
Matprananastasu
eva
eva
ma
na
paraha. So what does it mean? Like either way you do, but then as long as I mean you can use me however you want, kind of a situation. So that stage means what? That means like I will not even think I am being misused. Like you take Jada Bharata. Everybody used to give him a raw deal, right? He was cut out from the inheritance. He was given some dry land, something. All that we've heard that story, right? But then he knew all that. It was not that he didn't know, but then he didn't mind it. He didn't take any offense. He just ignored all those things. And then he continued to be as Jadabartha because his aim was very high. So we can see eventually one has to go there. But then practically, if we are not ready and then we try to go there, then frustration will come in. We might do it for some time and then we get frustrated. So that is why theoretical answer is like we all know what it is, that is to reach there. But then we are not there. So, and then to what extent it is affecting me? If it is affecting me too much and it is hampering my devotional service or whatever little I am doing in terms of sadhana bhakti that I am doing, then I think it has to be addressed. If it is not affecting my devotional service, then it's okay. I'll just ignore it. I'll continue. So means maybe for that individual, that tolerance is still there. They can just, okay, I'll ignore it. It's okay. I'll ignore. It's like that child also, no? Some children, no? You keep on tormenting them little, you try to poke them, they'll tolerate it. At one point, they'll become very angry or something like that. Like that. I mean, not children, animal. So like that. I mean, so we all have our endurance capacity. So just because theoretically it says that now I will endure it, no. And again, the I becomes important. So let's not go that path. Path that we should tread is to be practical and then see to what extent it is affecting me. What you just said now, Mataji. And then if it is affecting me in a way that it is hampering my sadhana, I'm not able to think anything else, and all that, then I think you'll have to address it. Then it has to be addressed. I mean, you'll have to consult your seniors, whom you report to, and then discuss, and then see what is the best way to take it forward and all that, and then try to address that issue in a materially in a material way, and thereby then once that is over, then your mind is also free and clear, and then you can continue. So this is what I would say. I don't know if that answers or it makes sense, but
yes,
this is how we should look at it.
Yeah, only on the grounds of devotional service and on the practice that should not be disturbed. So
yes,
yeah,
because there are some instances where it will affect us also, which means that beyond that point, I'm not able to tolerate it. That's my limit. Each one will have their own limit. Somebody, just one small word, they will become very agitated. Somebody, whatever you say, nothing happens to them. So, it's very relative.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in
Hare
relation to
Krishna.
this, when we have to become the servant of the servant, sorry, Mataji, is it only with the devotees or any, because we have to see everyone as a devotee. So it is general, no, Prabhuji, like.
No. It is
Hare.
devotees who are considered as devotees. That is the Guru and Vaishnavas. We know who are the Vaishnavas. We are all the Shat Goswamis, Parampara, Srila Prabhupada, Guru. So for us, right now, they are all Vaishnavas. There again, theoretically, there might be an understanding which will say that everybody is a Vaishnava, all of that. Even once they have uttered the name of Krishna is a Vaishnava. If we go with that, then again, tolerance factor will come in. We might do it for a few days,
Yes, Prabhuji.
or we might do it for 6 months. Then after that, then we might
That is
say
why
we'll get
that is why I
frustrated.
asked this,
Exactly,
Prabhuji, because
exactly.
yeah, because that becomes
So
very difficult, Prabhuji. Then
correct.
when
So
we
that
start
is why,
seeing everything.
yes, Mataji, very true. That is why we'll have to have this discretion of what to accept theoretically, and then take it as the end state, and then how much I can now take in this, and then how I can progress. So this discretion we all have to have, and it will vary from person to person. Now, just because this verse says that, then I will do it for everybody, then do we go around paying obeisance to everybody on the road? Because the moment you see somebody, because you think you're a Vaishnava? No. So it's practical. Prabhupada very clearly says, with intelligence, you have to practice Krishna consciousness. And that intelligence is this discretion. And yeah, so Vaishnavas mean like pure devotees of the Lord mean now for us, it is like the Shat Goswamis and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura. I mean, we know all of them, though they are all there. So whom we listen to or whose songs we sing, we know what mood they were in. Right? Of course, right from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all of them. They are all like, okay, Narada Muni, all of them, the Parampara. So they are all pure devotees of the Lord.
Prabhu, I have a related question, Prabhu. Can I ask? Hare Krishna.
Medhavini Mataji, can I ask a question?
Yes, Mataji, after you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I have this very basic question. It's a two, because I am at a very low neophyte stage, Prabhu. So my question is that Shiva is a devotee of the Lord. I mean, he's the biggest devotee considered. So if we serve Shiva, will Krishna be happy? Like, I didn't understand that context. Because if you have to please the devotee, then we to please Shiva is how Krishna will be happier.
Correct. So, if we are having the consciousness that I am pleasing Shiva as a devotee of Krishna, then absolutely there is nothing wrong in going ahead and then serving Lord Shiva, because he is Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. And there is a parampara also, sampradaya also, which is there. So there is nothing wrong there. But then, if we consider Lord Shiva as independent and then or equal to Lord Shiva, that's the third mistake which is there. And then the second mistake. Then the whole thing it gets jumbled up. So it depends on our consciousness, the way we are approaching it. So that's how that only you will be able to answer yourself. So the question whether I can do for Shiva or not, that you'll have to answer, because how you are seeing Shiva is important rather than whether can I serve Shiva or not. That's not the question.
Got it.
So we can, anybody, any Vaishnava.
My consciousness is the same when I'm worshipping Shiva. My consciousness is the same, that you are the biggest devotee and my obeisance is to you.
Correct. So in that way, then it pleases Shiva more. Actually, he'll be very happy when somebody is paying obeisances like that, and then he will Ashutosh, he becomes very pleased, and then he will quickly lead us to to Krishna, because you are seeking Krishna. But then, since we are connected to this parampara, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by his grace, we are going ahead. So we just do what is given there. See, sometimes theoretically all this is okay, but then we have to choose one path. So that path we have chosen is this, because mercy first came to us through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All this understanding, all this is happening. How? It's because of the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because of chanting the holy name. So our first allegiance is there. We are connected to the parampara, or we are trying to connect, because that is what is giving me the primary nourishment. So we continue with that, without any offense to the others. We're not trying to demean or belittle or trying to say, no, this is better than that. We shouldn't get into that kind of a thing. We just say, okay, this path I'm choosing. Like we say, we know all schools are good, but the school I studied in is very special to me. Like that, because there's a relationship there. There's emotions connected to that, but to another school which doesn't have it. It's just 4 walls for us. But then we also know theoretically that that school is also as good as mine. So like that.
Got it, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Medhavini Mataji, please ask your question.
Thank you.
One second. Hari Bol. 1 second. Do we have any more question by someone else who has raised their hands?
No, Prabhu, there are no raised hands. So,
Yeah. So we just have 4 minutes. Mataji, Medhavini Mataji, you can ask the question briefly.
Yes, yes.
Prabhuji
Yes,
can
Prabhu.
speak
Thank you so much. Yeah. So Prabhu, this was related to Suma Mataji's question also. Like sometimes, when we apply for a job, right, our CV, we are stating that, I am a chartered accountant, I have done this, I've done, we glorify ourselves so that we get the job and then we get, and I'm the same person, right? And when I do spiritual practices, I try to, I know my strengths and weaknesses, but we try to not project our glories, but try to bring it down or just keep quiet about it, even if you are not. So, Prabhu, the question was, are we supposed to be the same to all the people, or are we supposed to be different towards devotees? That was the kind of question that I understood. So, Prabhu, isn't it a kind of a dichotomy that, when you go to work, you project your strengths and you show yourself so that, you grow in the organization. And of course, we are utilizing the Lakshmi and Krishna Seva only. It's not that, you're become a totally demonic when you go outside. But there is a subtle change in the mentality that you talk about yourself, you talk to get the project, you talk to work for the project, etc. You grow in the organization. At the same time, we try to make ourselves humble. Even if you are not humble, we at least try to become humble, because this is the way I have to behave in the temple, in the community of devotees. So to that extent, isn't there a dichotomy? And to what extent this can hamper our developing of real humility? Because even I know for myself, I can say in the association of devotees also, I try to be humble. Sometimes I have to really try, when I know something, and when somebody else, a senior devotee is saying something which I have read and also confirmed that it is not right, then I have to try hard to not speak anything, Prabhu. I try to keep quiet, or I just try to, go to the kitchen and help some other way, so that I'm not there, I'm not present in that particular place, because I have the tendency that I have to, make the correction, because I've heard from my guru or senior devotees. So I cannot correct at that place because it's a senior devotee and, he's saying something. I should not object. So I try to be humble in that. If it was a situation in the office, I'll be the first person to raise a point that this is not what was agreed. This was because I'm being frank and honest in the workplace, whereas I'm trying to artificially show humility in the community of devotees, because that will help me progress in devotional service. Because it's not important what is right. It is important to develop the right attitude. That is only important, because that pleases Krishna. So we have different attitudes according to the place. So how does this affect in developing real humility, Prabhu? That's what I want to understand.
So this is what you have answered yourself to a great extent. The only way, only thing that I want to add is that this is necessary, and then it is not, what do you call that? There's this word, say, hypocrisy or anything like that. We are trying to be something else because we want to be that. It is not a hypocrisy. You don't say when a child who wants to be a doctor is dressing up like a doctor and then acting like she's testing the patient and all that. So it's not hypocrisy. It is like the dream that is there, and then we try to fan it or nourish it. It is harmless, but then it does good to that child, no? So like that. So in that way, we also have to bring on certain qualities and then restrain ourselves, because that's not our nature, but we are trying to change our nature. So the only point I want to say is we have to prioritize. Which is priority? You told me two different words. Which is your priority, and then how you are prioritizing one over the other determines whether, it justifies the whole thing. Like if your priority is still the materialistic, the work life, and then you're more leaning on that, prioritizing that, then the situation, you will sooner or later, very soon than later, you'll find yourself completely on that side. But if you prioritize on this side, then you'll see that those qualities are dropping off and this one is developing. So it is like, which one you choose, which one you want to prioritize. We'll play both roles, but then which one you prioritize. That's important, because at the start, we'll do both. And then slowly, then we'll move. So we always had two masters we were serving. We still are. But the more we try to tend towards towards Krishna, it is better for us. And then those qualities, even though it was all happening in a forced manner, they become second nature. That's the mercy of the Lord.
So, Prabhu, the ultimate thing is the humility has to percolate even to the material life. Is that right? Is that the right understanding?
Eventually it will percolate. It's not that it has to, and I'll become humble there. That's like we are going the wrong way, and we'll get frustrated there. But then there's no frustration this side because it was spiritualized, and then you try some of it. Sometimes some rub-off is happening on the other side in material world. You're not frustrated. You just continue, and that is what we are seeing in the lives of all the Mahajans, all the Goswamis, and everybody. They are all in that stage where it didn't affect them at all. So that's the lesson for us. So where we just have to continue in this way, and this urge to speak and then controlling it is a good sign, because we are practicing austerity. It's a great austerity to be humble. What does it mean? That means you're restraining. So restraint has to be there. It's just that, but then we should not be judgmental. We should not say, I know that it is wrong. Maybe there's a different view to it, which I'm not aware of, and try to see it from that perspective. Then you'll see a whole new dimension appearing also. So there's nothing like right and wrong, no? So don't be judgmental, but then continue the austerity. I don't know.
Wonderful, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Really helping a lot. Thank you so much. Nadat Pranam, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So we can conclude the session.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव जय
Srimad Bhagavatam.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
With your
Krishna.
permission, can I end the
Thank you.
session, Prabhuji? Can I end the session?